Well, just had the 2-year-olds to talk about, and a lot to talk about in some regards. In other regards, the horses haven't really changed that much. Last week's open house was really nice from Ohio. We got to look at a lot of horses, where they're at and where they're going. Ontario's a little tougher because Stutzman's track's a little deeper. It's hard to make speed there right now, and although a mile and 2:12 or 2:14 doesn't sound like a whole lot, really when you get them down to Mohawk where the track's a little tighter, it is. Now, is Grand River going to be tighter? Historically speaking, when they open Grand River for the first week, it's very deep. So, again, we may have to be looking at some of the same. But we'll take it as it is. It doesn't mean anything when we get the horses down to Mohawk and, get them in the race bike and really cut them loose. You see the difference. So, for now, I'm going to do my best to extrapolate where they're at, what they're doing, and what I expect them to be doing in the next 2-3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks moving forward. So, we'll start with AC Swan. Very happy with the open house with her. A mile in like 2:08, which was quite a jump for her, actually. She took it in stride well. She came back the next time we trained her, and she looked good. Very happy with her overall, especially since she doesn't really have to be ready until middle of July, end of July. So she's right where we need her to be. Quite frankly, maybe a little bit ahead. Activation, I told everybody in a video earlier on, a video you're going to look at, the opening video, I believe, actually. That Activation is a second trotting colt that may find his way to Oak Grove. Now, this will depend directly on how I feel he schools on Wednesday. I'm going to school him behind the gate on Wednesday. If he feels really good, then we may target him as a second trotter, him and Pickpocket, to head to Oak Grove for the July 12th. I think it's July 12th stakes. So we'll see how that plays out. Affection, a great conversation with Ben the other day, one of the owners of Affection, one of the Cross family. Ben had said, what about Kentucky for Affection? What are your thoughts on that? And I said, well, she can't really go to Kentucky unless you're going to forego Pennsylvania, because the first sire stake race for Pennsylvania is July the 1st for Affection, which means it's 3 days before the final in Kentucky. Can't really do both, right? So unless you just want to go down there and race her in the eliminations and then leave, which I don't think is a good idea, probably should just stay as is, stay put with Affection and race her in the July 1st stake. That's my take on Affection and the other trotting PASS, Pennsylvania sire trotting fillies. Alibaba, very similar to AC Swan. Both of them are right where we need them to be right now. In fact, as I said, maybe a little bit ahead of schedule, which is fine. We can take our time with them heading into July. As we head into the middle of July, I suspect we'll have them qualified, maybe even start them once, and then they will join Mr. Eaton, James Eaton, in Illinois. Antilles Hanover trained good the other day. I've been happy with Antilles Hanover and continue to be happy with Antilles Hanover, but we will see how he is over the next little while. Again, this is a horse we've slated for, if you're going to ask me right now, I'd say the Stallion Series, the first part of the Stallion Series. I like Antilles Hanover. We don't want him swimming in the deepest part of the ocean. We have to keep him in hand, under wraps. Very similar strategy as Austral Hanover last year, and I think if you look at the colts timelines, they're very, very similar right now. In fact, Antilles might even be a little bit ahead of where Austral was this time last year. Arson is slated to go to Kentucky Oak Grove. Very happy with this colt. I have every intention of schooling him in 2 minutes or 2:1 on Wednesday off the gate at Northfield Park, and then qualifying him the following Thursday. I'm very happy with the way this horse has behaved himself, the way he's looked, and what he's accomplished over the last little while. Throw the open house first over right out the window. That wasn't Daryl's fault. It wasn't the horse's fault. That's not his cup of tea. He likes to sit, leave, sit, follow, or hunt, and then sprint hard on the end of it. That first over grind just not really in his wheelhouse, and he did look a little out of sorts in the open house, but I think that will be gone come Wednesday when he sees the gate at Northfield Park. Blanton's Blue's been doing everything right. Again, we're going to be looking probably at the stake races in New York for Blanton's Blue. He's done pretty much everything right since we castrated him, and very, very happy with Blanton's Blue. Born to Dance. Again, this horse has really come forward. Where does he end? I don't know. I don't know where his ceiling is, but I can tell you he hasn't reached it, and really strong finish the other day in the open house to get up and beat an extremely good Venice Blue Chip. So that itself was a big mile. How he did it, the last quarter, the last 3/8, all those things were very, very good indicators. Where does that leave him? Where does he end up? I'm not positive yet, but we will find out soon enough. Chirahola, again, Buckeye type filly right now, but again, does her work, trots. She's got pedigree. She's got a lot of body and a lot of length and girth. I think she's going to end up being a decent filly. I mean, it would be unfair of me to say, oh, don't worry, she'll be a sire stake filly. Well, she might be a Buckeye filly, but she's a nice filly, and we'll see what kind of filly she actually is here in the next, we're almost to June, in the next month and a bit. Cowboy by the Sea is probably one of the most frustrating, heartbreaking situations I've been involved with quite a while. Now, obviously, that's not true. We had horses that had passed away. A couple of horses passed away this winter. Yearlings that were training down, and that was crushing. That was very crushing, and probably stay with me for quite a while. The Cowboy by the Sea thing, that injury is just so senseless and so ridiculous that he just got cast. Horse got cast and cut his leg, and just in the wrong place, and it's going to very likely could be a season-ending injury for Cowboy by the Sea before it even gets started. And it's so unfair for a horse that trained down so good and looked so good. It's a real tough pill for me to swallow, and all my partners, it's just a terrible feeling all around. Did not know Train Good the other day, 212. She's probably 5 weeks from racing, I suspect, 6 weeks from racing. But she was better the other day. I was happy with Did Not Know. Don't Talk About Bruno will be going to the open house at Grand River next week. Johnny said he trained good the other day, so I was very, very happy with him in that regard. I think the horse is improving. He doesn't have that raw speed that Crantini showed last year, but that raw speed came with a slight touch of lunacy, and Bruno doesn't have that. He's much more sensible. Johnny's done a great job with that horse all winter long. The other day was the first time I sat behind Lonely Lakewood in forever, and I thought he looked really good. So you can tell Johnny's been doing a good job with them. Drebin, I thought Drebin was very, very good. Actually, his knees were better than I thought they were last week. He trained very good in both his training miles. I was really happy with the way Drennan has gone about his work and how intelligent he's become. That was a big concern of mine, was that, he had that feel about him where it was him against the world, and it just makes it very hard to teach him anything. And Danny had worked with him, got 2 head pulls on him, opened him up, open bridle with a hood on. He's seeing the track better. He's seeing the training miles better. And what I mean by that is he's understanding what he's supposed to do. Relaxing when he's in a hole, relaxing when he's on the front and called on, or until he's called on. The horse has just been training good. I'm very, very impressed with him. Easy in the turns will remain out until end of June, I would imagine. Electric Line, I believe, is going to head to the field this week. Both Electric Line and Third and Six. Third and Six's hind ankles bother him a little bit. This is all maturity stuff, and it's easier with Third and Six because, as I said to Jason, where you can't go to the Meadowlands. Was there freehold? I mean, there's not a lot on the line in the line of stake racing for Third and Six. You're either a killer in New Jersey, or you're going to be killed if you go there. And you're better off just to look at the entire horse and say, okay, what's best for Third and Six? And that's really what's best for us. And I think just taking our time is the proper course of action for Third and Six. So probably just going to lay back, turn him and Electric Line out in the field, bring them back in latter part of the summer, and start them back up and see what we have. I jumped right over. No, I didn't, because I started this with Electric Line. Flashfly I was happy with the other day, but she still showed she was interfering on that ankle. We may, I suspect there's a chance at least, after this shoeing, that we may have a substantial shoeing change on this filly. We'll see. The last time we made shoeing changes on her, it did not work well, so I'm going to have to keep that in mind when we really look at her and what we're going to do with her. 2.8, 2.10 won't be a problem for her. It's when we get to 58 that we may start to see some issues. So I'm going to try and stay ahead of that a little bit. But for this week and weekend coming up and the open house at Grand River, we'll probably hold the line with her and her shoeing and just let her go out and do her work. Flash Fi, George of the Jungle looks good out there now. I'm very happy with what I've seen from George of the Jungle. The vet had looked at George and said his feet were a little bit sore. His knees, she thought, was secondary, so we're going to change his shoes up, work on his feet, cry out a splint that Dr. Bosenjack found, and I suspect you're going to see a much better George of the Jungle this week. Also, Goldbug Hanover still battling that issue with her palate. There was a lot of ulceration there and a lot of issues there. You know, I had a number of people message me when I made the comment the other day about breeding, and it was just my comment was meant in a very simple way. Goldbug Hanover, she misses this season, fine. If she's not going to come back and be a top flight 3-year-old, a real good horse, the horse we bought, Locatelli's sister by Green Shoe, if she's not going to be that horse, that's okay. She's worth way more, I believe, as a broodmare than we paid for her, and I think that will go well in that regard. You know, as you can imagine, that strong family of Locatelli, Gaines, Hanover, all those 3 generations with a fresh face by a Green Shoe filly in foal to a horse like, I don't know, Walner or some other top sire, probably would demand a lot of money. So my only statement on that was, even if Goldbug Hanover can't be a successful racehorse right now, she can't help but be a successful broodmare for whoever owns her. So that was my statement to everybody. It wasn't that, we're going to breed her and she's done. That's not it at all. What happens with Goldbug Hanover will be absolutely in line with what the veterinarian and more particularly the surgeon and Dr. Cote will tell us. She likely could do this. She likely can't do this. This is what you will have, and this is what I think you're working with. At that point, we can have a very candid conversation about Goldbug Hanover, but for right now, either avenue, it's not really the end of the world. Great Bet has been training great. We actually did make a shoeing change on him. I thought he looked really good the other day. Very happy with Great Bet. Green Tea, I talked to Dr. Rucker this morning. He wants to turn the horse out in Kentucky for a few weeks and give him some time off. He has no interest in going to Pennsylvania with the colt, which, to each his own. That's his horse. He can do what he wants. So I guess he's going to be turned out in Kentucky. Will we have him through the stake season? I have no idea. And that, again, that's up to Dr. Rucker. I'm not really that worried about it. We were hired to do a job. We did the job. If that's the end of the job, then so be it. But Green Tea's a very nice colt. Little headstrong, but not bully, not hard, but throws his head a little bit, little quirky in the mind, but at the same token, will likely mature into being a really, really nice horse. So Green Tea is going to be heading to the field, I believe, for a little green grass. Gypsy Hill is not. He'll be heading to the Ohio Sire Stakes and most likely heading to the next generation for us. Man, he just looks like he's put it all together. And the only reason I said most likely and could be and things of that nature is because we have not a ton, but we have 2, 3, we had 4. I thought there was a 4th one on the way. We have 3 that look like they are going to be what I would consider as close to a Sire Stakes material as you're going to find right now. That being Gypsy Hill, Sweeney is another one. He's coming on strong as we get closer to qualifiers. And then obviously Irresistible Sun, the other one, the third one. But as of right now, I believe Gypsy Hill is the head of the pack. Hallie in the Clouds, just starting back with her. Very happy with what I see from Hallie in the Clouds right now. I'm Fancy Like looks fantastic also. The reason we haven't been droning on and on and on about I'm Fancy Like, we really should have been, to be honest, because very nice filly, does her work very good, just can't, she's in the shadow of Venice Blue Chip right now, and that's not fair to her, but it is reality. It's the life of it. Very nice filly, standing directly behind a bigger, nicer filly at this point in Venice Blue Chip, but make no mistake, I'm Fancy Like is no slouch and could end up being, I guess she could end up being the nicer of the two, but I haven't seen that path yet, but she's a really, really nice filly and has a nice gait. Insider Trading does her work well. Amy will go with a couple in the open house, and she's excited about that. This is a filly that has done everything right. We haven't really been in a big rush with her. July the 1st, that will be the first time you may see her in a race, maybe a prep race before then, but July the 1st is when you'll get your eyes glued on Insider Trading in 5th gear. We've been trying to keep her out of 5th gear for a while. Amy's done a great job with her, keeping her quiet. She's eating good and feeling good. really just turning into a really nice filly, and I can't wait to see what she's going to do this summer. International Spy is out in the field, and he'll remain there for a little while. I want to give him lots of time. Don't want any excuses. I'm going to give him lots of time to grow up and fill out. Irresistible Son, I talk about Gypsy Hill, I talk about Sweeney. This guy is in the mix also, and if we were going to put a 1, 2, and 3 right now, it'd be Gypsy Hill by a head. Irresistible Son right there, and Sweeney just off their flank. Those are 3 really nice colts, and I can't wait to race all 3 of them this summer. Jadeport Beach Boy continues to do his work well. He's the type of horse where he's going to get better and better and better, and then when we go to start him, it wouldn't shock me if he just jumped up and won a big mile enough that people would just say, where'd that horse come from? He's getting better, quite a bit better, and looks good on the track. Levac in Action, another filly, another one of those Ohio fillies. I think it's just going to be a Buckeye and a fair filly, but a really nice filly in her own right. And I think we'll have lots of fun with a few of these horses as we head into fair season and Buckeye season. I think we'll have a lot of fun with them. Lonely Lakewood, I'm torn. There was a real argument, internal struggle going on with me when it came to who was the second horse going to Kentucky. Would it be Lonely Lakewood? Would it be Militant? Or would it be Activation? I'm not completely sold on Activation yet. I don't know how. I don't know where he's at in his training as far as is he ready to go right now. I know Pickpocket is. But Activation, I will know Wednesday afternoon. But not until then. But right now, the way it stands, Lonely Lakewood, I think, just needs a few more weeks of hard work. They trained him at 2.7 at Stutzman's, which, make no mistake, is a mile on that day, a mile about 2.2 at Mohawk. I think he's well on his way. So I want to see a mile at 2.3, 2.4 from Activation. If he can do it and do it right, then he's the second horse that may be heading to Kentucky, whereas Lonely Lakewood is in the mix most definitely right now. Lover's Play, another just, I'm not going to say heartbreak. Horses get hurt, horses get injured. It's not a suspension, it's not a broken bone, but it is a cut and laceration, and she is going to have to recover from that on her right hind foot. So it is going to set her back a little bit. She's definitely going to miss Oak Grove, and anything outside of Oak Grove is still on the table as of right now until I hear differently. I expect her to return to our barn next week and begin her rehab, recovery, and start back training shortly thereafter. That is the plan with Lover's Play. I don't want to sound pessimistic with her in any way, shape, or form. She got injured, she cut her foot, she's coming back, and we'll rehab her and reassess her once we start doing that. Mick Paisley, we're going to make a few little changes on Mick Paisley this week. I'm going to start training her a little harder, especially as we head into the open house next Saturday. Mel Gibbswan has been doing his work great and looks really, really good on the track. Very happy with the way he's rounding that corner into the home stretch of his training, starting to come off that shaft, starting to get a little stronger, a little smarter. Jason Merriman's been doing a great job with him. Memory and Imagination has looked fantastic for the last little while. Really happy with Memory and Imagination, how he's gone about his work, what he's done, and where he's at in his training. Here's another horse, quietly was kind of in the Kentucky mix. The only thing that kept me away from it is, much like his uncle Brace for Landing's sister is the mother of Memory and Imagination. He also, a little bit thinner than I'd like to see, doesn't have that big, strong, and it's not Lauren. Lauren does a great job taking care of them. She has Militant looking like a school bus. You know, he's all shiny and looking great, and then Memory and Imagination's kind of sitting there looking at you in the corner. He doesn't look shiny. He doesn't look fat. He just looks like he's ready to go. And I think he's one of those horses. We're just going to manage him best we can. Shipping him down to the heat in Kentucky to race in the middle of June is probably not the wisest choice, but of all the horses heading down there, he would have been the second, but he would have been second to Pickpocket to go there and ahead of the other colts. I just don't think it's wise to send him down there. We're going to focus on the rest of 2023 with Memory and Imagination. Militant, as I just said, very close also. If Activation falters at all Wednesday schooler, there's a good chance that a horse like Militant could easily jump up and take his position. Lonely Lakewood, I think the mental component of Lonely Lakewood may be an issue. We'll see next Saturday. We'll see how Lonely Lakewood looks next Saturday. And it's going to be tough. It's very hard for him to do on a half-mile track. Touches a knee, touches a jack. The ball's not going to be in his court. He's going to have to do the best he can do with the situation he's in. But it wouldn't be shocking if he did. He's just a really nice horse. We have a number of colts that are kind of vying for that second slot on the trailer, so to speak. And as I talk it loud, I still believe that Activation might be the best horse. Big, strong bugger. He might be the one for the job. Mount Once for All has been training great. Mario's been very happy with him. I've been very happy with him. I can't wait to see what he does when he gets in a race, when he gets in a race bike, when he gets in a race situation. I think you're going to see a really nice horse. So we'll see how that plays out. No Chance in Hill was injured on open house day. Tiny 10%. Well, I called it 25, but Mike said by the time we get all the blood out of there, like, there's just the swelling where the fibers would tear a little bit in the suspensory. There's some blood there. So he said by the time you get that all cooled out and cleaned out, it'll likely be 10% in the next 2 weeks, which is a manageable number. But he is a 2-year-old. So how do we want to manage that? I would have to say the vast majority of the way we've approached suspensories in the past, and every single one is different and subjective to every single horse. So it's hard to treat it the same way we would treat another one, right? It's very hard. You need to look at the horse, where the injury is, what is around it, how you can treat it, what's the best way to go. And I don't know. I can't answer that. But after we get this cleaned out the next week or so, and Mike gets a real clean look at it, he'll formulate a plan for No Chance in Hill. You know, as Ollie had said earlier, just one of the sweetest horses, and he really is. So anybody that's ever been around No Chance in Hill should be cheering for No Chance in Hill, because he's a nice horse, and I'd like to see this horse make it back. Oh Snap You trained great the other day. She needs a couple of more stiff training miles to really wake her up and get her paying attention and looking forward. I know she was the other day, and she was really, really good training. I can't wait to see her up in the gate, behaved and focused on her work, and I suspect that'll be coming in the next few weeks. Paycheck Princess has been doing her work well. 2.6 a piece, 2.7 the other day. Will continue to make her way down towards the races, and then we'll see what we got. I haven't sat behind her in a while, but I know that everybody does say she is still loaded with speed and lots to offer. So we'll see. Pickpocket, I think, if for no one else, just myself, I think I'm comfortable in saying my 2 cents, best horse we have. In fact, one of the nicest colts we've had in recent years. Now, we've had some nice horses, and I think historically speaking, and this is not a good exercise to do, but historically speaking, when you look at all the horses on one playing field, Pickpocket is up there. He's one of them. He's a really, really nice colt. Prince Charmer, I think Prince Charmer is going to surprise a lot of you. I trained him at 2.8 last half in 59. First time he ever felt a set of hobbles on his legs, and he was exceptionally good. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people in the next few weeks. It's a good-looking colt. We did not geld him. I told Jason, maybe just hold off, because he did all the work I asked him to do, and maybe then a little bit more, to be honest. So why don't we just hold off on castrating this horse just for a little bit to see how he is. I don't think it's a every second counts type situation. His attitude is not in question. He was much, much better the other day. I know we put the head check on him and trained him harder. He was a little frustrated, and he was acting out a little bit. But he's a big colt. Is that shocking? You know, I'm not sure that I'd be that interested in having a big mopey colt that you can do whatever you want with and there'd be no fight in him. I don't mind that a little bit. I didn't mind that there was a little fight in him. He was fine when we went out the door. Had the hobbles on him. First time you ever felt him on his legs. I went a mile in 2.8 last half in 59. Very, very easy with him. This colt might turn some heads here very soon. Pull the Shoes. One of my quiet favorites. I guess quiet is not the word, because I've told everybody, but I love this filly. I love everything about her, and I cannot wait to race her this summer. Her and Digit I like also. We'll talk about her in a minute. Both those fillies, just something about them, I like them. I think Pull the Shoes has got a lot to offer. It might be a real, real nice filly. I think Digit's just going to be super handy and a lot of fun to drive. We'll see how this plays out, but I really, really like both those fillies. Punch the Clock, no rush with her. I know James, I don't think, can come to the open house. He's an assistant coach for his son's baseball team, and I could put him in a spot where I'm like, come on, man, just one time. But I know how important it is for me to see my son's baseball games when I can, and watch them play live. So I'm not going to push the envelope. If James comes to me next week and says, I don't think I can come for the open house because of Griffin's baseball game, that's fine. There's no problem there. Griffin's baseball game? No, but Uncle James is his coach. He's his assistant coach. So he's part of the coaching staff on that team, and he can't go to the Saturday games all the month of June because of baby schoolers. So now we're asking him for a 5th week in a row he can't go to that game. And since we only have 18 horses going behind the gate at Grand River, which I have mapped out 2 4-horse fields and a 5-horse field, Louis Philippois has already volunteered to go. Daryl Thiessen works with Louis Philippois. He said he could come up. So between myself, Mario, Amy, Daryl, and Louis, shouldn't really be a problem. And if James says, yeah, I can make it, great, no problem at all, that's perfect also. But I've been very, very happy with what I saw and have seen thus far from Punch the Clock. I know James doesn't want to go a lot with her. In the race bike at Grand River, she has to get around the half also. That's step one. 212 to 215 would be plenty, and definitely don't be 212. And I think that's where we're at with Punch the Clock and everybody else in there. Purple People Eater, I trained hard the other day. Very, very happy with this filly. I think she's coming forward in a big way. Ready for landing. Almost a 0% chance he'll get around Grand River. I'll take him there because I don't think it'll hurt him. But I would say a 20% chance max that Ready for Landing trots cleanly around Grand River. It would be a huge victory for us if he did. I just don't see it happening. Now, the only good thing is he'll never race on a half. Not for us. I highly doubt he'll ever see a half-mile track. So it's an opportunity for him to see the gate and see what he'll do. But I know there's maybe a good chance he's not going to trot around Grand River. It's not the end of the world. Really don't care. Would trot around Grand River, no problem. She's primed and ready to go for all the little tracks in New York this summer. Very happy with what I've seen from her. Jason's done a great job with her. Rito's Lady's coming. As I said, she'll race. This will be her last start. Next Saturday will be her last training mile for a couple of months. It was always the plan with her. There's no real reason. There's no lameness. She just needs to grow up and mature a little bit. And as I said, I'm not really in a big hurry with her. I think she's going to be a very, very useful horse for us in the fall. So let's not push her. I think Grand River will be her last training mile for a little bit of time. Royal Emeralds, again, green shoe filly. One of our best. One of our best fillies and a really, really nice horse. She's going to do some good things this summer also, I believe. Seasons of Love. Love Seasons of Love. Now, I really want to go with her in the open house, but I can't. Can't go with her. I forget who I have in there. I think it's Drebin, actually, I have in there. So Louis Philippe Waugh was listed on Seasons of Love. We'll see how he does with her. Sonona Hill. There's a real scrimmage right now going on to see who's going to be our next generation filly. The Colts, as I said, I believe Gypsy Hill is ahead right now and will likely remain that way. Fillies, different situation. All those fillies show talent and they look good. I still think Sedona maybe has taken the lead after last week. We had that issue where she was running all over the track in the middle of the week. We made wholesale changes to her shoeing and equipment, changed everything around, and she just went out and looked like a monster. That's a good horse. That's what I like to see happen. So Sedona Hill, in my mind, is a little bit ahead. Southwind Digit, I just got done telling you I love this filly. I cannot wait to race her this summer. It's going to be a lot of fun. Sunset Acres Girl, what more can you say? I trained her in 2.9 last half and 1.1. She hasn't raced for 5 or so weeks, and 2.9 last half and 1.1 would probably get her money where she's going. I think there's only 24 or 25 fillies eligible to the Sire Stakes in Michigan, so we'll see how that plays out. Sweeney, love Sweeney. He's closing in, but I don't know if he's going to get the Gypsy Hill and Irresistible Sun just yet, but I think he's going to be a very, very nice horse for us all summer long. Happy with him. 3rd and 6th, as I said, we're going to put him out in the field. He just doesn't look physically ready. I've said this for a while. He looks okay. He does his work. He's been in 2.9, but I think when push comes to shove, when you look at him, just pull him out of the stall and stand him on the cross ties, he just looks like he's not quite physically ready yet. So we're going to do what's right for him. Turn him out. Tell me when he's ready to go, when he looks like he's ready to go, that's when we'll go with him. And I think that makes all the sense in the world. Time Is on My Side is good. Again, is he going to get around a half? Ooh, he's a big boy. That's a big question. What time? Okay, well, you're going to have to hold it for a little bit. We're going through Pennsylvania now. When we get to the Buffalo area, there's that rest stop there. You know what? No. When we go through where the racetrack is up here, the thoroughbred track, we can pull over there. There's gas stations there. Okay. So Time Is on My Side. I don't know if we get around Grand River. He's never seen a half in his life. And there might be people say, "Well, why would we take them then?" Because they're racehorses. Do you think I have to submit an email to Time Is on My Side's agent requesting a trip to a half-mile track? It's a racehorse. Get your ass out there and do some work. And I think that's the situation we're at with Time Is on My Side. we'll see how he is. We're not going to push them very hard. First time off the farm at Grand River, they're not going to be pushed very hard. You're not going to see any miles in 2-1. I can tell you that. You're going to see a lot of 2.8s, a lot of 2.10s probably, but no 2.1s. Vaquero Blue Chip looks great, and very, very happy where he is right now. Get a lot of power in Pennsylvania this year. I can't wait to go. Venice Blue Chip. There's, I'm Fancy Likes a nice enough filly in her own right, but she is in the shadow of Venice Blue Chip. She is an exceptionally gifted filly, and I cannot wait to see what happens with her this summer. Victory Blue Chip continues to get better and better and better. I haven't sat behind him in a long time. He looks good. Looks very good on the track. As far as what he can do overall, what's his ability look like? We'll know soon enough. There's no rush. He doesn't have to be ready till everybody else is. First week of July, he'll be ready to go. We'll probably race him, qualify mid-June, race him the last week in June, heading up to and prepping him for the stake races in Pennsylvania. Watch your mouth. Probably one of the biggest movers for the last few weeks has been this guy. Really has a lot of pop on the end of the mile and looked very good. And we talk about the horses going to a half. This is a horse I'm going to be watching very, very closely on a half-mile track to see how he does. He is a good-looking colt. Widespread Panic. Nothing's really changed with this guy. August. That's when he'll be ready. He's going to make breaks. He's going to do stupid things. As I said to Danny the other day, Danny's like, if you keep him off the field a little bit, no, put him right on a helmet. He runs. Put him on a helmet again. He runs. Keep putting him on helmets. He's going to have to learn how to race as he learns how to train down. And Winter Bells, I just think this is a really sweet filly. I don't know how fast she'll be. She seems plenty fast to me. Amy's done a great job with her. And I told them, I took the ear hood off her and I sparked her up the day I went with her. And I said, she's going to be a little grabby next time you go with her. And certainly she was. Amy came charging down the backstretch. She pulled up and she goes, I had to move her. She was just, I had trouble with her sitting in a hole. And it's fine. No big deal. She'll go to the open house. I'm curious how she'll do on a half-mile track. She strikes me as a horse that may need a trailer behind on her shoes, and even if she could wear aluminums and flip-flops instead of full swedges up front, I think that might be a positive thing for her, but those are things that don't have to happen right now. So that is a very frank look at every 2-year-old we have. I talked about all the 3-year-olds. I talked about all the racehorses. I give you a little brief opening because, quite frankly, there wasn't a ton going on at the barn this week. My biggest chore is right behind me. Couldn't wait to see Ollie play. I was happy to see him play. He's got a lot of baseball in front of him all summer. So I'm going to have a lot of fun racing the horses, watching the horses, and watching him play baseball also, and watching Ava Lily. Too bad I couldn't watch her dance recital next week, but
Mom said she might record it.
She's going to record it, yes. And in fact, there's so many people, it was sold out. I couldn't have watched it if I wanted to.
Mom actually bought 2 tickets.
Who's got the other one?
She doesn't know. She just bought 2 tickets in case.
Probably Jenna. Anyway, I will let all you guys go. Just a wonderful, wonderful weekend here with half the family. Ava, Ollie, and I in Ohio. We had a lot of fun. Had a great time. And now we're on our way home. We'll be home in about 3 hours. So with that, I'll let you go. Take care. Great week ahead. Good luck to everybody tonight with Air of Love, and stay special. Really interested to watch them race. Take care.